Hey guys, I'm Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop, and today on this classic and vintage episode, we're going to go over a pattern called Rolling Star. It was introduced by Nancy Cabot in 1933. We made it a little bit country Christmas, and we used a Deb Strain Homegrown Holidays for this, and it would look great in any fabric. The buffalo checks really make it kind of pop. It is a completely free block pattern you can get at Fat Quarter Shop, and if you want to turn it into a quilt like the one you see behind me, there is a low price pattern also. So let's get started. So in this block pattern, when you cut your blocks, you actually are cutting to make 2 blocks. But today I'm just going to show you how to assemble one. So we're going to start building the 1 block we talked about. On fabric D, this is the corner of our star, and on here we picked a directional fabric. So if you're picking a directional fabric and if you want them to go the same direction, you would cut your squares opposite. So I'm going to cut, and when I'm cutting, I really make sure the tip of the ruler is on both points. So you would cut one direction, and if you cut the second one this direction, they would not all go the same direction. So I'm going to go the opposite way, and you'll see when we build our block, this will make all 4 corners go the same direction. Now, if you don't care which way your stripe goes, then cut it any way you would like. You're going to have 4 outer triangles for each block. So that is our fabric D. And on our fabric B's, we're just going to cut those regular, and we're going to cut them in half. And when I'm cutting, sometimes I put my rotary cutter right here because that keeps it in keeps my ruler down here in place, and then I tilt my ruler at the top and cut. So you will have 4 fabric D's for each block and 8 fabric B's for each block. We're going to build a cat's cradle unit, which is the outside of our block. It's super easy. You're going to take a fabric B triangle and a fabric F square and put those right side together. And when you do that, you will align this right side right here, right on the edge. And on this side, you just let the little dog ear hang off. And when I'm sewing, it's easier to start sewing from this corner to the edge, and that will give you more accurate results. And on this block, we are piecing with color 2600 Aurifil since there's a lot of gray. And also we are pressing all of the seams open since there are so many seams. When you get these pieced together, you will have a little dog ear right here. And I just cut it off just like this, just straight across. Now, if you want, you could cut this little thing off here too. It's up to you. From there, you're going to add another one. So from there, you're going to add this one, and here what you're going to do also is put right sides together, pin right at that corner where the square is, and when you start stitching, stitch where that is instead of the corner so that this stays straight. So you're going to start stitching from the corner all the way down, and your unit will look just like this. And I'm going to just cut this little section off right here. And this is all bias edges right here, so it's very stretchy. So you just want to handle it as little as possible. We're going to take a fabric D triangle that we cut earlier and put it together. And what I like to do here is, this is the center. You can see the center. I'm going to fold this triangle, make a crease, pull it over, put that crease right on the very center, and just go up. That keeps it right in the center. I'm going to pin in both corners. And then you're just going to stitch with a 1/4 inch seam all the way down. You can start at any corner, and this is a bias edge, and these are bias edges, so it's really important to put your pins in. And if you want, when you're stitching, you could stitch with this side up so that when you're stitching, you can make sure your needle goes right in here. I actually prefer to not do that. I actually prefer to stitch from this side, but it's personal preference. And then this is how your unit is going to look. And you're going to make 4 of them, and you're going to see that the stars on the outside 2 go straight up and 2 go to the side, and that's going to help you have all the lines going the same way when we build our block in a little bit. And on here on the corners, what you will do is just cut these off. You'll just want to use really nice sharp scissors, and we can move to our next step. So to make your star point units, we're going to be doing a square and a square. And I'm going to be completely honest and tell you that square and a square is what I am the least accurate at. It's my least favorite block to make out of everything. I always feel like I struggle with it, which is why on this one we're pressing open, because there are so many seams. You're going to be making 4 for each block. I'm going to start with a fabric E square. And we have 2 fabric C's in red and 2 fabric C's in gray. I'm going to turn those over and draw a line from corner to corner on the wrong side with a Frixion pen. A Frixion pen will disappear with heat later. You can use any kind of marking pen that you're comfortable with. I do always draw lines on these because I think this block is really hard to get accurate. And then the first thing you will do is you can either build the block 1 corner at a time, meaning you add, press, add, cut, press, and then keep going. You can do it 1 at a time, just like this, or you can save time from getting up and do 2 opposite corners. So you could do this. Now, to get the most accurate results, usually on something I would just pin once. But I always have inaccurate, always. I have never mastered this. So on this one, I usually put 2 pins. You're going to use a foot, like an open toe foot or just an open foot, and you're going to stitch directly on that line. That will look just like this, and once you've done that, we're going to trim a 1/4 inch away. It doesn't have to be accurate, but I do find that if you do an accurate 1/4 inch seam, you will have less trimming to do later. Now from here, you're going to press open, and when you press open, you will come and add the other 2 squares just the same way. Stitch directly on that line. Now some people will say if you stitch on the line slightly to the center, slightly away from the center, like more towards the corner, you will get more accurate results. I don't do that. I stitch directly on that line. And this is how your star unit will look, and you're going to make 4 and just press open as you're going. So now we just need to build the block. So when you're looking at the corners right here, this is where all of our stripes go the same direction. Now some people might not care, and if you don't care, just put it together however you want. I just wanted to point that out. And this one can be really tricky when you're putting the block together because, you know, you could easily put the red down here, and that's not right. So kind of think red circle on the outside. So if you kind of, when you lay it out on your design board, kind of think red circle on the outside and then gray on the inside. And I'm going to give you a couple of tips when you put it together. So when you're putting all of your seams, there's a lot of seams in this quilt, which is why we're pressing open, and you really need the intersections to line up. So I'm just going to show you how you would pin 2 units together. So you would put them right sides together, and I always pin at the bottom first. And then I'm going to eyeball a 1/4 inch seam right in the center with this open seam, and I'm just going to poke it in there. I eyeball it because I've been doing it a long time. If you want to, you could mark it with a ruler. And then I'm going to go down here, and right where this intersection is right here, I'm going to pin. put it in, pull the pin up, just pin on one side, and then I'm going to put a pin right here. And when you stitch, it should meet up right here. And if it doesn't, you just unrip the seam and start over. So that is how I would pin. And this block is super beautiful. This is how it looks all sewn up. And again, when we wrote the pattern, it's written so that you can make 2 blocks out of 1 cutting. We would love for you to download the free pattern at Fat Quarter Shop. Subscribe to our videos to see more videos just like this, and I'll see you next time.